Well, in my second lecture here, I would like to tell you that ploughing and first opening of the soil, the design and component and other component details. Well, in the previous lecture I have explained you that different implements and equipment are required. Now, here I will let you know as to what are the different equipment which are required for different operations. Particularly with respect to tillage we will talk of, because first is the requirement of opening of the soil and then preparation of the seed bed. So, we will talk of those equipment now. See, what is tillage? It is very important to understand what tillage is. The tillage is the mechanical manipulation of the soil for proper seedbed preparation in crop production. Why we need? Because if you open the soil, immediately the soil bigger clods will open. Now, if you sow the seeds on that, the bigger clods will simply dump the small seeds and they will not allow it to open. So, we would like that there should be a very friable and smooth soil and seed bed preparation for the seed to grow. It must have an environment, and which we call as soil tilth. So, that particular small particles of soil need to be prepared from the beginning, and for doing that we will have to apply the different implements. Now, the objective of this tillage is to develop a desirable soil structure for a seed bed root or root bed, whether it is a seed to be put or for a root crop to be sown. Now, control weeds or to remove unwanted crops. Yes, if we do this operation, definitely you can control the weeds, because although we do not sow the weeds, but the weeds grow on their own, and that is why if we have a proper field preparation, the seeds will grow, but not the weeds. Manage plant residues. Yes, there could be plant residue, there could be a crop, previous crop, and when we are taking the field operation, first ploughing up the operation or preparing the field, there could be some of the residues there. Now, we would also like to manage those residues and conserve the moisture for the second crop. So, this is another requirement of that. Minimizing soil erosion by contour tillage, listing and proper placement of trusses. Now, this also helps us. Erosion of the soil or soil conservation is important here when we are operating these equipment, particularly depending upon which type of equipment and for what operation we want. And definitely this also many a times we would like to mix the fertilizers and amend the soil sometimes by using salt, etc., which are mixed with the soil, so that the condition of the seed bed is better prepared. It depends on the condition of the soil initially and what we want to do the operation. So, for various these operations we require the tillage equipment. Now, what are the equipment? See the types of tillage equipment. Now, you will see that for tillage we need mainly two types of equipment. First is the primary tillage operation, where we require primary tillage implements. Now, a moldboard plough, a reversible plough, a disc plough, a chisel plough or a subsoiler. Now, these are required in different conditions. For example, this moldboard plough will be required for first opening of the land. The disc plough is also for the first opening, but there is a difference between these two. What happens is that in moldboard plough, you require that the field should not have a stony field or lot of bushes and trunks, etc., of the trees, etc. But if there are bushes and stones, etc., at that location this disc plough is the one which is best, because it has discs and these discs rotate. So, they will not be able to get damaged as compared to the disc plough. So, these are the two which are there. Sometimes when we want that a chisel plough or a subsoiler, where in the lower part of the plant root zone, we find that a hard pan comes, and then in order to cut that we require subsoilers. These go up to about 1 to 1.5 meters or so. So, these soils this subsoiler is required for that, and this is another equipment. Although this is old equipment, this has become of late it has become very useful, because it helps us in conserving the time at the headlands. So, management of the time at the headlands is very important in this. So, this implement is used. These are so we can say that these are normally designed to reduce soil strength, cover plant residue and rearrange aggregates. Now, we go to the next set of machines, where which these are known as secondary tillage operations. Secondary tillage, that means primary tillage, when we have opened the soil or just opened the soil, we will have bigger clods, as I said earlier. Now, we would like to create, as I said, that a congenial atmosphere for the seeds to grow, and for that we will have to have smaller particles, and that is only possible if the bigger clods are broken down into smaller, and for that we have secondary tillage operation equipment. Now, these are a large number, say single acting disc harrow, then a double acting disc harrow, offset disc harrow. Similarly, cultivators, now you can see a rigid tine cultivator, a spring tine cultivator and duck foot type of cultivator. Then there is another one which is which has become very popular nowadays, is a rotavator, then a spike tooth harrow. Spike tooth harrow is not that much, but yes, this rotavator has become very popular, and in fact, this is also operated by the PTO of the tractor. We say that the PTO gives the maximum power out of the 3 power outlets of tractor, but it is the least used one. And we have the other implements, the secondary tillage implements or the primary tillage implements, those are all attached to the drawbar or the 3-point linkage, and although they are mostly used, they are the least effective ones. This is the nomenclature which we give, that we have the 3 power outlets of PTO, the drawbar which is 3-point linkage, and then the third outlet is the hydraulic system which is used for lifting and lowering of the equipment and maintaining a certain depth of the soil with respect to the tractor. So, these are the different operations. You can see that the operation of single acting disc harrow, then the double acting disc harrow, the soil will be thrown in one direction. In the double acting you will have 2 rows of the discs which are maintained, and the offset disc harrow, it is offset with the line of operation of the tractor here. The spring tine ones, these cultivators, generally these are all operated within a zone of about 4 to 6 inches, or maybe about 8 to 10 centimeters or so. This is the operation in which this is the depth at which these are operated. Minimum tillage. Now, there is another concept which is not new one, which is for a long time, is the minimum tillage operation, where the tillage we do not disturb the crop to a greater extent, but then these it improve the soil condition and improve the soil moisture, and where we do not have okay. Right. So, the minimum tillage here, it means reducing the row crop production cost by improving the soil conditions. Here minimum tillage, we will not be churning the soil to a greater extent, and that way we will save energy, at the same time the moisture content will be there. Some of the equipment to reduce the mechanical energy here, conserve moisture, optimize the soil condition and minimize the number of trips over the field and hence time. For this we have a very popular equipment which is being used all over the country, is a zero till drill. This is another one which is Happy Seeder, developed in Ludhiana and being used all over the country. This is one of the very effective tools for this. Now, another thing for maintaining the soil moisture, we would like to, after the soil has, after the after the crop has been harvested, we would like to take advantage of the moisture which is there, and for that we would have we would like that the same stubbles could be cut and then left in the field, so that they will conserve the soil moisture and then the next crop can be grown. So, for that stubble mulch tillage equipment sometimes are used. One is shown over here as a mulch machine. With these, now I would like that let us go to the field and have a look at the operation of these machines under the field conditions, and I hope that you will enjoy this operation and have a look at the different operations, and we look forward to your questions and queries that you may have. Thank you. Dear students, welcome to the course on farm machinery. Well, when we talk of farm machinery, we must talk of the power source which will be driving those machines which are there for different operations in the field. Well, tractor has been found to be the biggest and the largest power on the farm, and you must have seen the tractor today which is available in a very different shape. But I am going to show you a tractor which was here in IIT Kharagpur and was operated during early 60s and 70s, which has some features which were totally different than what it was at that time. Now, it is essential only to say that what was there in the history and what were the design as at those times. Now, you must have seen the tractor which is well balanced today and which has 3-point linkage, but a tractor which we have here, which is a Russian tractor, and it has 2 points. Now, these you can have a look at this. This is one point and these 2 points. These 2 points. The third point is not available here. So, the implements, generally the implements were larger implements and they were semi-mounted type of implements, because the third point, if it is there, then it becomes a mounted implement, and in the 2 points it becomes certain portion of the weight is supported by the tractor and the other weight is supported on the road. Now, another thing is that in this tractor we have seen that the distribution of the engine, the transmission, the differential and the final drive are totally well distributed. But in case of this tractor, we can have a look at this. You see that here, you have seen in the present tractors the PTO is a back PTO, but here it is a front PTO. Have a look at the same 6 spline, but this is a front PTO. And the weight distribution, you can see here that this is a long beam where the weights are kept, and the balance of the weight with respect to the rear weight by giving weights on these, and the steering was operated through this. A similar kind of operating system of the steering which are here, the way we have Ackermann type of a steering system. But the weight of other portions of the engine, transmission, everything is to be just here where the operator seat is there, and you can imagine that what was the condition of the operator when the engine is vibrating here and the sound is being made, everything, the fuel tank, everything was here, and the tractor is operating, and this tractor and all the controls are over here. So, no consideration was given for the human being. So, it is worth showing here that this particular tractor, which was totally different than what it is at present, and it has front PTO, it has back PTO, you have a 2-point linkage, and all the subsystems of the tractor are concentrated at the back and above which the tractor operator used to sit. Now, when you go to a new tractor, have a look at that. So, you have a look at the new tractor today. We have 2 points as I showed you there. Now, here there are 3-point linkage. This is the first point, which is a lower link, then this is another lower link, the second point, and the third one is this top linkage, which is top point. So, these are the 3 points which are there for attaching the modern implements in those modern tractors, and the PTO is here, which is a back PTO. Now, it has also a single link where you can attach the trailer, where this is the pin here, and we can attach at these 3 locations. Now, you see the weight distribution of the present tractor. We can see here right from here is our radiator, and then the engine, the transmission, then differential and final drive. All these are well distributed. It is a 4-wheel drive tractor. Generally, when we have a 4-wheel drive tractor, we will have the weight distribution approximately on the front axle and rear axle approximately 50-50. But when we have a 2-wheel drive, as we have in other tractors, we have about 65 to 70% of the weight on the rear axle and about 30-35% weight on the front axle. But this is a 4 wheel drive tractor. Now, when we go to the earlier one, you can have a look at this point which was shown you earlier. I can have a look at this again, that this is the lower links, it has only lower links. This is the one link which has a point here, this is another link which has a point here. Here there is no top link, and the PTO, the back PTO is over here just like ours, but all the locations of everything was at this position. You can see the exhaust of the other tractor and exhaust over here. Now, the exhausts are located over here in contrast to the new tractors. The difference here is that these tractors were not thought of particularly with respect to the operator, because these were made in 1940s or so, and this is a Russian tractor. In the 1960s only, when John Deere had thought of about the tractor operators, then we had modern tractor seats. Just like, have a look at this, the tractor seat which has a suspension system and which is well balanced. Even the controls, we had seen the controls that all controls were at one location, but here the controls are well distributed on the right hand side, left hand side, and the leg controls. The safety which is there, in fact you can see the footrest. The safety is very important here, because when the person operates, now how to get into the tractor and get out of the tractor, these are very important. So, with respect to that, we can see that for person to get up, this is the location where he can have a look, he can hold here and then put his leg over here. In fact, sometimes you need, for a smaller operator, you need another step here by which he can get into tractor. So, if you see the old tractors and the modern tractors, there is a large difference which has taken place over the years. Now, when we are talking of taking the power out of these tractors, we have three main power outlets. One is the PTO, which is in fact of two types. Generally, a PTO we will have 6 spline or 21 splines. These are for 540 plus minus 10 RPM, and then another 21 splines will have about 1000 plus minus 20. Now, when we want to take the power out of this tractor, the outlet, as I said, PTO, which gives us about 90% of the power, and then when we go to the next power outlet out of the tractor is the drawbar, and this 3-point linkage is known as the drawbar, that does the lower links and the top link. So, we have to attach the implements on these 3 points, as well as the single point at which we attach the implements which are trail type, just like our trailer or any other implement. Now, when you attach the implement or any equipment for taking power from the PTO, you get about 90% of the power. When you attach to these 3-point linkages, then that implement, although it becomes a mounted implement, wherein the total weight of the tractor, weight of the implement is attached to is virtually taken by the tractor, and it also helps in the traction and the tractability of the tractor. But then trailed implements, which are very less in number nowadays, we have all the most of the weight which is supported on the ground, and a portion of the weight is supported here, which are known as semi-mounted type of implements. Now, in later course of this course, we will let you know as to how they are attached to the tractor and what are the lines of force which are acting between the different points, and how the implement is interacting with the soil. Now, here I would like to show you how the implements are attached with the 3-point linkages. Another thing which I wanted to show you, where many times the students are not aware. Now, the tractor wheel, the size of the tractor wheel, many times it is asked that, okay, what do you mean by the size of a particular wheel? Now, you see here it is 16.9 into 28. Now, this 16.9 into 28, this means that 16.9 is the section width which we can call from here, or we can take, if you draw a scale from here, and then this width is 16.9, which is in inches. Mind you, this is very important to be noted that this is in inches. Then 28, this is also in inches, and this talks of the rim width from here to here, the central distance of this particular circle, that is in rim width of the tire. These what are the important points, because the students now we are all aware of the MKS system, and this is still written in the FPS system, where we have 16.9 the section width or the depth here in inches, and 28 inches is the rim width. Now, if you want to get the diameter of the wheel, you can have this 28, which is this to this, and then 16.9, which is generally this width we take as this to this here, and same thing on this side. So, you can add 16.9 plus 28, that is 16.9 plus 28 plus again 16.9. This way you can convert this into meters and you can get the diameter of the wheel. This is very important. Sometimes even the boys would not like to would not be knowing as to what is meant by wheel base. They generally think that wheel base is the total length of the tractor. It is not so. In fact, wheel base is the center to center between from here, if you call this is the center to center distance between the front wheel and the rear wheel. So, this distance is known as the wheel base. And wheel tread, this is another thing which is important so far as the tractor is concerned, is the wheel tread. Now, wheel tread is the center line, the center to center distance between the two rear wheels as well as the front wheels, center to center distance, center to center. This is wheel tread, this is called wheel tread, and which I showed there, center to center distance between the two wheels is the wheel base. It is very important to know, because when we want to find out the weight of the tractor and this calculation of the CG as well as the force employed by the tractor onto the implement when it is operating in the soil, it is very important to know these parameters, which are very essential portion in finding out the total draft requirement and hence the power requirement. We have a problem of having the total power and the matching of the implements, because tractors depending on the type of the 3-point linkage we have. In fact, the 3-point linkage are having in different categories, the category 1, category 2 and category 3, which is mostly dependent on the power of the tractor. So, and generally higher horsepower tractors belong to the category 3, and we do have about the category 2, which is most of the time within the 50 horsepower tractor that we are using. Now, it is important that how much power we are taking from this tractor and how much power is actually required by the implement is still a mystery, because when you go to the soil is a viscoelastic medium, and that keeps on varying depending upon the soil moisture content and depending on the depth at which it is operated and depending upon the type of the soil it is. So, this is a complex thing which needs to be found out, and still people are working on the matching of the implements with respect to the power source, which is still, when we drill it in the treatment of mathematical treatment, I will show you how we are in a position to find out the matching implements for a particular power source. Now, we will show you how this is attached to a tractor. Many times the actual attachment of the implement to the tractor is not shown, but let us have a look at this. Generally, the first two links are attached first, the lower link and then the top link. The problem is these only. We generally put the right hand side one and then go to the left hand side, and later on, once these two are made, the top link is easier to be fixed into this. Now, it is locked by the pins which are given over here, and slightly tightening of the top link. Okay, the implement is now attached and now it can be lifted or lowered depending on the situation. Yeah, we can see that a 2-bottom modular plough has been attached to a tractor. Now, it is very important to understand how the moldboard plough acts. What are the different components of this? In fact, the cutting edge or the cutting part of this moldboard plough is this part. Now, this is the shear and this is the shear point. It has a mold board. Now, this board's purpose is to invert the soil. Now, it has the length, this is the shear which is there, and in order to connect this cutting edge as well as the board and the shear, this we have a frog which is known as this portion which is known as the frog of the component. Now, the rear one has a additional attachment which is helpful in maintaining a clear furrow, and that is the land side. This is called the land side of the moldboard plough. If you take the center of resistance, the center of resistance will fall in between this line somewhere here. This will fall in between somewhere here. When we consider the forces application and when we find out the total power requirement, we will deal with the analytical treatment in a later lecture. Now, this is connected and we will see a short demonstration of this. In continuation of what I said earlier, the moldboard plough and the disc plough, these are the two primary implements which are used for opening of the soil. Well, the moldboard plough is generally used for first opening of the soil where the land is not that stony or very grassy, but where it is very stony land, there the moldboards are not used. Generally, we use these disc ploughs. Now, this ploughs, in fact, if you see the difference between those the moldboard ploughs and this is that the miniature plough which is generally in front of the moldboard plough is replaced by what we have instead of the moldboard. We have a concave disc, steel disc of about varying between 610 to about 710 diameter of the disc of both these discs, and generally it maintains a certain position with respect to the vertical. The disc there is a of this angle is known as the tilt angle. Now, this helps in increasing the depth or maintaining a particular depth which we want. So, we can change this, and the disc angle is, now this is the direction of travel. With the direction of travel, if you take the disc, there is the angle which we maintain is the disc angle which we say. Now, this disc angle and tilt angle, both angles are very important. The tilt angle generally varies between about 15 to 25 degrees or so, and the disc angle varies between 42 to 45 degrees with respect to the line of travel. These are very important when we want the total output of these discs. So, why it is important is in case of stony ground, this disc rotates. So, since this rotates, there is no problem in operation of this, but had it been a moldboard plough, the plough will virtually break if the ground is very stony. That is why for primary tillage, these two implements, the moldboard plough and the disc plough, are used for first ploughing of the field. Now, we will see the operation of this. It is lifted by the hydraulic system of the tractor, as I told earlier, and it will be maintained, its position will also be maintained with respect to the tractor with the hydraulic system. So, we will see the operation of this as well. As you can see that the disc has scooped the soil onto one side. From here you can see this. The next one which will come here, again it will put on the same scoop soil. So, this is the way it so throws the soil. Here the inversion is not to the extent that you get there, but only because of the disc. This implement, although it is not said to be new, but this has started gaining a lot of importance, is a reversible plough, particularly because of time saving. We know that saving in time is going to save power, and then also the maximizing the output of the plough. Here at headlands we do not have to run the tractor again. It can be it saves time in turning, and you will not find any furrow which is open furrow, as you will see the operation of this. And while it is lifted, the furrow is turned, and we save time in turning. So, this type of system is very much gaining importance nowadays, particularly because of its efficiency in saving time, no furrow opens, no open furrows, and saving unnecessary running around the headlands. So, we will have a operation, look at the operation of this particular equipment, which is reversible plough, reversible moldboard plough. As we have seen the operation of this equipment, apart from the primary equipment, which are the moldboard plough and the disc plough, we have secondary tillage implements. That means, after first opening of the soil, we would like to prepare the soil, prepare a soil tilth which is required for preparation and seeding of the seeds in any crop. So, the secondary tillage of this, so these are known as secondary tillage operations. This is one of these, which is a disc harrow. You can see that there are two gangs of disc on the same axle here. One are notched discs, the other are notched smooth discs are there, and they are set at certain angle with respect to the line of motion. Now, these angles are very important so far as the cutting of the soil is concerned. The notched discs help in if there is a grassy field or the grasses etc. are there, it will cut those, and these will smoothly take the soil and put it onto the other side, as we have seen. The angle etc. are changed by the by this particular lever here, and this is one which is mostly used in preparation of the field. Another equipment which we will show the operation slightly later is a cultivator. So, apart from the primary, the secondary implements which are used are the single acting disc harrows or double acting disc harrows or the tandem disc harrows, and those of course we have only shown the operation of this harrow, which is similar in action. Only thing you will find in single action, the soil is being thrown on one side only, and in double action you will see the soil is being thrown on the opposite sides in the same width which is considered. So, we will see the operation once again. We have seen that two types of implements, particularly the primary tillage implements, which is a moldboard plough and disc plough. There we had seen that the soil bigger clods were coming out. Now, when we operate the secondary tillage implement, the aim is that these clods will be smaller and the soil will become very friable. So, you can see that the soil will become friable as case of say the big clods which are coming. So, the aim is to prepare the soil in such a way that we have a very friable soil, and then the size of the clods etc. very small, and it will help in germination of the seeds. Now, this is another equipment which is operated by PTO. We can see that the operation of the PTO, through the PTO it is operated. It has the universal joint here, current there is a worm gear. This particular equipment is a rotavator, and this has become very popular nowadays because it saves time and energy. Because earlier we have to have a primary tillage implement, then secondary tillage implement, and twice or thrice operation of these, and so energy requirement is very high to prepare the soil before seeding. Now, this has become very popular nowadays because it does not require several operations and several passes. In fact, after harvesting of the crop, you can operate this and then prepare the field for sowing. So, many locations we are operating this equipment, and particularly where the soil is not very hard, this is one which is very popular, saves energy, and all advantages with this. So, this is another equipment operated by the PTO. As I said, that PTO is the one which has the maximum power outlet, but the maximum percentage of power outlet, but it is least use. But this equipment has made it to be used to a greater extent. We will see the operation of this rotavator in the field now. Yeah, we can see the operation of this particular equipment, that see you do not need any other thing, and simply the seed drill can be operated and seed can be sown. So, that is the importance of this particular equipment, which has gained over last 10 years or so very much popular, and being preferred by the farmers in a greater way. Okay, this is another equipment which is a secondary tillage equipment. It is a 9-tine cultivator. You can see that the 4 tines are in the front, these 4 tines are in the front, and the 5 tines are in the back. This is the shovel, which is called a reversible shovel. Now, there are others which are spring connected. This is a rigid one, and this will, the job of this is to break the clods which have been prepared by the moldboard plough or the disc plough. Now, the operation of this for actually preparation of the field will be at least twice operation of this will be required for preparing the field, as you have seen in the case of a rotavator. So, definitely it requires more energy as compared to that, but then in conditions where we have to prepare the field after first ploughing and second ploughing, which has been a virgin for a long time, then you will require the operation of this. We will see the operation of this as it is mounted and connected to the tractor. Now, definitely this particular implement has broken the soils and the big clods, but then you can see yourself that it will definitely require at least twice operation of this, and then at least a planking of this, that means smoothing of the soil, then only the field will be ready for seeding. But then this has a separate requirement when the field is virgin and it has been operated by either a moldboard plough or a disc plough, where the soil has been inverted and then it needs to be broken to smaller particles, and that is why you require this particular equipment.